Oh baby, you're almost the perfect keyboard, but not the one for me. But I still kind of want you. This is the Vertex Angle, and it's a TKL keyboard that has the fancy options such as F13 and WinKeyless. You know everyone wants that. It has plenty of visual customizations, namely matrix coating. The most affordable option is $399, and this unit you see right here is actually $519. This is the Venus unit. It has a special stainless steel weight. Yeah, it's hefty, but damn, it's stunning. This video is sponsored and I get to keep this unit, but they never get to see the video before it goes live. And if you've seen the Twitch stream prior to this video, you know I'm not a shill. I kind of ruined this board on the stream and then saved it, kind of. All right, let's talk about it. I was streaming to about 500 people live on Twitch and things did not go as planned. My build methodology is to build without the foam, so I at least know that the board can stand on its own. That was a grave mistake. We'll dig a little bit deeper in a bit. This keyboard is a leaf spring gasket mount keyboard with a very minimal, yet sophisticated design aesthetic. Its strengths are definitely how it looks as well as the typing feel. It feels so comfortable. This is the international group buy, so it has some revisions from the R1, and the revisions in the plate, the foam, as well as the case are intended to improve the sound. It is 8 degrees and a pretty standard front height. I don't really need a wrist rest with this because I'm used to a taller front height these days. And it has an understated moonstone at the top. I have an orange one here, and you're gonna be getting a blue one in the GB. The side profile is stunning and retains a lot of the classic TKL look. Nothing fancy here, no curves, no knobs, just a nice looking TKL. The main draw for the aesthetic of this keyboard is that we have the coating options like I mentioned before. The finishes are the same as the Matrix keyboards, but with different names, which are kind of the best in the game. Being that this is an unlimited group buy, it's gonna give a lot of people a chance to try Matrix coating for the first time. And you won't be clenching like the unicorn first come first serve drop. Phew. Like I mentioned before, this is the Venus colorway and it is a warm gray coated finish. There's texture to it, but it's not rough. It's just not perfectly smooth. I'm kind of obsessed. This gray is very easy to match with bright keycaps such as this. This is GMK Perestroika. The beigeish colorway looks killer. Look at this CRP red Cyrillic, and the shiny way in the back showcases the engraving. The internal weight can be customized with your own text if desired. They put my logo and my name. Very nice touch. For regular customers, you just have regular letters and numbers. Sorry, no Weeb Legends, and sorry, no other languages. I watched a bit of Black Simon's review, and he proclaimed that this board is very nice to type on. He kind of forgot that he had to review it. I'm very inclined to agree. This is a very comfortable typing experience, and the flex is done very well. I've been typing on this nonstop since I built it. Not because I forgot, but because I need to make this review as fast as possible, so I used it all day at work. The board has a leaf spring gasket to allow for sufficient amount of flex. It's extremely comfortable, and I like that the flex is kind of localized as you type versus having a gasket mount but with a stiff typing assembly, so everything will come down and up, but it doesn't flex in the middle. It's not like those cheap pre-builds. No offense to boards like Qcron Q2, but this is gasket on another level. I think the one unique thing about this board is that the PCB, as well as the 2 foam layers and the plate, have matching flex cuts, so that when you press down, it will still deflect. So you get the sound benefits of PCB foam, but you don't get that like brick feeling of typing into like a foamy typing assembly. The sound of this board is where there is most contention. The case has some distracting sounds such as ping, which is very unfortunate in a heavy aluminum TKL such as this. When built without the foams, we actually heard the worst sound. In the notes I got prior to the stream, the PCB foam was recommended. I took that as, oh, you can build without it to try and then build it with foam later. I'd argue that it's 100% required. I built with SP Star Meteor Whites, which are typically a very good switch, loud, clacky, has a full sound, but when built in this board on an aluminum plate with no foams, it was extremely thin. And the sound was actually very uneven. The right mods as well as the nav were much louder and actually sounded better than the alphas and the left mods. Honestly, the R shift sounded amazing and it sounded the loudest, but with that loud sound, we actually heard the ping because the sound kind of reverberated in the case. Definitely pinging pretty badly. And then we compared it next to the FBTKL and that sounded full. Of course, the FBTKL is hollow. But hollow and ping are very different things in my opinion. Ping is more high pitched, hollow is kind of deeper. Hollow I can kind of tolerate depending on the board since I like plateless boards and it comes with hollowness usually. Like case ping just immediately makes me think of Keycap Q1 and boards like that. Because we had skipped all the foam and soldered the board in, we just had to try to fix the package that we had. We were not very successful. We DIY taped the flex cuts, which improved it a little bit. But it still sounded pingy. And then we did the force break mod, which Keyboard came up with. Then we threw in the PCB foam as case foam, and it sounded fuller, but still did not sound as good as the board looked. But at this point, I had already streamed for 4 hours. I was defeated. As I ended the stream, I was fueled by rage. There was no way that this was all that the board could provide. There's no way a board can look so good, yet sound like that. So I huffed, puffed, ripped the keyboard apart, and desoldered with the Hakko FR301. I did not go back and check any pins. YOLO. I used my degen method and just split the PCB down the middle with my bare hands. If I didn't desolder correctly, I would have ripped the pads and destroyed the PCB. I was that angry. But we cleared every single switch. I took my Durock spacebar, I was like, you failed me. I'm gonna throw you out. I wanted to leave nothing to chance. So I got a new set of TX stabilizers, the V2s, shims and all, and I made sure that the spacebar was clean. Slapped it in, clean. 10-10 sound. My wife walked over because I'd already finished the stream and she was wondering if I was ever gonna leave the office. No, this is my prison. I'm gonna fix this damn board. In my fury, I honestly almost resoldered the board without the foam. Now that would have been an Andy move. Sheesh. I slap in the CR foam. I slap in the Poron Pad. Sandwich. Damn, it's thick. She gonna fight me for sure. I have to solder in each pin twice because the PCB foam is pushing the plate out. You gotta make sure the pins are deep in the PCB. That's what she said. It's 11 p.m. It's late. I probably shouldn't be operating this hot tool in my hand, but I have to push forward. After 20 minutes of what seemed like direct inhalation of solder fumes, I soldered the last joint. Now we have to put these damn keycaps back. Why the mothergong hell did I use non-English legends? I had absolutely no idea if the keycaps were actually in the right spot. No time to check it. Let's just hope I put them in the right order or else people will make fun of me. I dropped the assembly in the case. My heart rate was finally lowering. I could see the end of it, the light at the end of the tunnel. Close it up, sound test. Ah, there. She's singing. But damn, that spacebar hurts a little. If only she were perfect. With all of the sound dampening provided with the keyboard, the sound was finally as the designer intended. It's not perfect, but I feel like it's good enough. Unfortunately, the Poron foam is required for the build, and I will say that it does do wonders for filling out the sound of the board and reducing case ping. Once built, I will say that most of the ping is gone, but a little bit is left. It's not horribly distracting, but I do have to point it out considering the price point of this board. Overall, the sound is great on the alphas, but the spacebar leaves me wanting a little bit more. And as for the price, $399 to start and $519 for the coated one with the PVD finish weight, it's hefty. It's not for the faint of heart, but it is a solid collector piece in my opinion. The coating is unique to this run as well as Matrix boards. That alone is almost worth trying to get one of these boards. It's not a beginner board, it's definitely not a budget board, but it's definitely a collector's statement piece. It really fills my hands in a nice way and it feels satisfying. It looks great. Feels great. The sound is above average, but the spacebar will need some extra modding, perhaps with a long pull switch and a heavy spring to really cheat a little bit and make the spacebar sound better. The overall package is stunning, and I'm just disappointed that it wasn't the perfect keyboard, but there are no perfect keyboards. I feel like I just went through the longest storyline and I finally reached the end. This entire review was typed on this keyboard, and I'll be honest with you, when I was typing, I was forcibly hitting the spacebar with less force so I could hear less of it. I'm a sound guy. I spent an entire 9 hours typing on this board before making this review, and I think it feels amazing. Honestly, I hope my suffering on stream has shown you that you probably shouldn't build the board without the PCB foam. I spent that time so you don't have to. You can get a decently sounding board that looks 10 out of 10 in my opinion and has a very comfortable typing experience. But that's gonna be it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next story time. Peace.